Test mic. What's up, guys? Learning with Rich here again. So in this video, let's continue our discussion about basics in Dynamo. So after learning how to generate the curves using our Dynamo from our Revit model, so how to find these curves. So this time around, let's try to create points in our Dynamo from our Revit model. So we're going to find points in Dynamo. Okay, so we will be using some familiar nodes this time, and then I'm going to introduce another nodes that you can use on your Dynamo. All right, so let's get started. So for you to be able to follow, I'm just going to create a new one, new project using an architectural template, and then I select here OK. All right, and then after that, I'll just create a wall here, and then I'm going to pick 2 points, and then I'm going to place a window. Okay. All right, there you go. So there's my window, and then since I want to learn also how am I going to generate a point from an intersecting element, so I'm going to create here a line. So let's say, for example, I'm going to create two arc. Okay, and then I want to locate that point. I want to get the location of that point in Dynamo. And also, I'm going to create another two lines here, just like that one. So I also want to get that point using Dynamo. All right. So after creating this sample model that we are going to use for our exercise, so let us now dive into Dynamo. So let's go to Manage, and then visual programming. So let's click here, Dynamo. Okay, there you go. And then let's create a new workspace here. So I select new here. I'm not going to maximize the window because I want to see my Revit model here. All right. Okay, so what I want to do first is I want to generate the points here in Dynamo. I want to get the insertion point of this family. Okay, so that is what I want to get. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to use this node that you already know. So we are going to select model. Okay, so we have two types of nodes here. Select model element. The other one is elements if you want to select multiple elements. The other one if you only want to select a model element. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. All right, so as you can see, it says here nothing selected. So I'm going to click here, select, and then hover my pointer to Revit to select the window. So once I click that one, the Revit will read that as element 361857. So this is the type of window that I just selected. Now, for me to get the location of that particular element, so I'm going to use here get location. All right, so get element. How about element location? Okay, element location. Oh, still nothing. Element. Okay, get that location. Get that element location. All right, so this one, so get location. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this one. So element get location. This is the node that you will be using if you want to get the location of a particular family, just like this one. So after I select that family, I'm now going to connect that wire to element, and then I place it. And there you go. So after it runs completed, so as you can see, there's now the point. So what is the location of that point? So if I put here my watch node, I type the watch, click the watch here. Okay, so I'm now going to connect that, and then I'm going to connect to the wire, to the node there of the watch. So as you can see, this is now the location of that point. So there you go. So that's uh, the simplest way for you to be able to get the location of your object. Okay, so this is useful because you can use this uh, values if you want to modify the location of that family, or if you want to use that as a starting point for some model that you're going to create later on. So basically, that's how you get the location. Okay, so this is the new node that we have learned, element get location. So we know this already. We know this already. So this is a new node in our session. Okay, so now another way of generating our point. Let's say, for example, you want to get the point at the intersection of these two curves. Okay, so you want to generate the point, and for some reason, you want to check out what is that point. Okay, so what is that point? Just like this one. All right, so we will be selecting another element here. So we're going to select these two elements. So I'll be using select model element node again. So I'm going to copy that, Control C and then Control V. This is the first one. And then I'm going to Control C, Control V. There you go. So I've got two here. So as you can see, it says here change. Why? Because we already have selected this element. So we need to change our selection. All right. So I'm just going to go to Revit. Okay. So this is our element, the first element. So I'm going to select here change. And then let's select this one. Just click that. There you go. So there's the element ID. So it says here detail curve. Now for the other one, so I'm going to select change. And then I'm going to click this one. And then again, it changed now to detail curve. Okay. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to uh, get our element geometry. Okay, so we are going to look for element that geometry. Okay, so element that geometry, so this one. So it means get all of the geometry associated with this object. So I'm just going to place it here, copy. So Control C, Control V, right? And then after that, I'm going to connect it there, just like that. Okay, so we know this already. So we know already this node, the element geometry. Then as you can see now, it's generated on our Dynamo environment. So if I'm going to change that to 3D, and then I'm going to right click, zoom to fit. So as you can see, I was able to generate the curve here using that particular node, which is element geometry. Now, for me to be able to get the intersection there, so I'm going to use this new node. Okay, so this node that I'm going to introduce is called geometry intersect. All right, so this one, geometry intersect. So I'll just click that one. There you go. So as you can see, it has two inputs here. So we have geometry and then the other geometry. So we now have one geometry and then we have the other geometry here. There you go. And then as you can see, after we connect, so there's now the point that we are looking for. So if I go ahead and connect a watch node, so I'll now be able to see that point. There you go. Okay, so that's the point that we are looking for. And then if I go to my Revit, as you can see, there's a point here. There should be a point. Oh, it doesn't show. Oh, there you go. So there's the point. Okay, so probably I'll just turn on the thin line so you can see it more clearly. So there's the point, all right, which is this one. Okay, so we are now able to get the location of that point and generate it. Okay, you can also do it here in this portion here. All right, so let's say I'm going to uh, copy. Probably I'm just going to copy the whole thing. Control C and then Control B. There you go. But for this one, I need to change the element. So I'm going to click this one, change. I'm going to click this line and then I'm going to click this one and then I'm going to click this one. There you go. So I was able now to place and generate the point here. And same with here. Okay, so I was able to generate it here. So as you can see, if I go back here, so there you go. So we are able to locate the point location. Okay, so you can use this. Again, you can use these values for some reason if you want to use this as a start point for your model or end point of your model. Okay, so basically that's how you move it. Now, I want you to take a look at this one. So if I'm going to move this one, I'm going to click and then I'm going to drag. Okay, so I'm going to drag this one. So notice that the value here will change, right? You see, the value of x is changing. Okay, because it refers to the intersection, to the point. Okay, you see? Now, if I'm going to move this up, it will not change, right? If I'm just going to move it up and down because the point is not changing. The location of the point is not changing. But if I'm going to move it, you will notice the value here will change. Same with the horizontal. So if I'm going to click this and then move it left and right, it will not change. The y-axis or the y value will not change. But if I'm going to move it up and down, so you will notice your y here also change, right? There you go. And same here with this one. So definitely this one, if I'm going to move one of the curve here, both x and y will change. Okay, so if I click this one, you see, both change, right? Okay, you notice that? So both is changing. Okay, there you go. So that's our new node here. So the new node is geometry intersect. Okay, now the next one, let's try to divide. Okay, so for example, so going back to my Revit here, for example, I'm going to create another line here. So this is my line. So I got one line here, one unit of line. Okay, so going back to my Dynamo, so I'm going to use again select model element. So I'm going to copy and then Control V. So I'm going to put it here. So I'm going to change it. So I click this and then I'm going to click this new element that I just created. So that's a detail curve. And now I want to generate the line here. So I'm going to use again the element geometry. So I'll just copy, paste. Okay, and then I'm going to connect it here. There you go. All right. So there's the line that I just created. Now, so there is this new node that I'm going to introduce. So this node is curve point, curve point at parameter. So we are going to use this one. So get a point on the curve at a specified parameter between start parameter and end parameter. So what is this? Okay. So as you can see, the output there is point. And then we have two input curve and parameter. Okay, so I'm going to select this. All right, so we have two inputs here. We already have the curve that we want, so I'm going to connect that. Now we need this one, the parameter. Okay, so for the parameter, so we need to specify here the range and then the step. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to introduce now the code block. Okay, code block is when you double click at the blank space. When you double click, you will notice a code block will now appear here. So you can put here your code. Okay, so like for example, in my case, what I want is I want to have a range from 0 dot dot to 1 with an increment of 0.1. So that's what it means. So I'm going to click outside. Okay, so the way you read this one, so it means so the range will gonna be 0 to 1, so it's between 0 to 1 unit, and then the increment is 0.1 or 10%. So as you can see, there's a list here that already created. As you can see, we have 0 to 1, and then there's the increment of zero point 0.1. Okay, so this is what I want to use to divide my 1 unit of line here. Okay, so I'm going to connect that now to that parameter. So I'm going to place it. There you go. And then where's my watch node? So I'm just going to copy one of the watch nodes. So copy that one, disconnect. There you go. Okay. So let us now connect this. So at the moment, I was able to create only 1 point here. Okay, for this 1 unit of line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this one, the curve point at parameter. So I'm going to right click that because there's a problem with the lacing. For the lacing, it's set to auto, which is actually the shortest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the lacing. This time I'm going to select here longest. So just click that one. And there you have it. So I was now able to generate 11 points. And then there's now the points on my line. Same here on my Dynamo environment. Okay. There you have it. So you just learn how to create points or generate points from Revit using your Dynamo. So this is a very powerful concept in Dynamo because points allows us to place a family at a specific location, or you can also use these points as a start or end point or midpoint of a certain line or curve that allows you to make a new geometry. All right. So hopefully you learned something from this video. So the new nodes that we have learned here is geometry intersect. What else? And curve point at parameter, and then the basic of code block. All right. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.